Probation. Oh, you talking on the front, right?
Yeah, so we don't have.
Laughing over here.
So.
They have to go get the other half.
It starts up. Alright, alright.
Door right here. Oh, some fresh blood, I see.
So this here is.
Oh, that's thank you. Like, oh, I appreciate it. I was gonna say, I have mints because I drink coffee. So. I'm always worried about my coffee. So. Huh? I haven't heard from him, no. I feel fine, so. He was like, he's pretty good about texting whenever he hadn't. Just to see how things are going. So then I was like, maybe he doesn't feel well. Like sleeping, I don't want to wake him. Let him get some rest. Okay.
That's another one that's challenging my sense of I don't care around. You know,
I'm so sorry. No, you're fine. I don't care.
let me tell you
We're gonna
Oh, don't. I didn't have nothing to particular.
That's why I know. That's why I said you did discover. Sit in the car.
Okay, so he's actually working with Pad. He's going to be coursing Pad. So we would request that he was at get broken into the Pad.
Okay.
He's either going to go to the whole house or ATL.
Is he self?
He'll self-report because we don't have all the details yet. I think he's worked with Pad for a while. Oh, I know. He's been in. What that's the state line. I mean, if you prefer, we hold him for CAD. I can talk. Jones.
So,
The previous show.
Hold on, let me see. Cause I had a good reason when I wrote.
I'm sure you did. Now I'm putting pressure. Now you're under pressure.
I had a pressure when I see.
Well, is that the back?
I don't think you're up yet.
I think only half.
These are eight.
Yeah, I haven't had a chance to talk to him yet because it's the South Cobb, so, oh, Mike.
Is he?
Well, knowing Mr. Jones, I represented him on the underlying. I don't know that he's on, but I'll check with him. It might just be one that I continue to talk to him a little bit. And then Rico. Only thing that's holding. You don't have me. Well, I think it's. Oh, yeah, so a field visit was done, he was living with his girlfriend at the time, they got into a disagreement. Then the probation officer basically said, "What, he's not living in your house." He's on the streets for a while. His issue is he's just, you know, how people, they just get scared. He said he's going to be working with Pat after he gets out.
Mr. Stewart.
How long has it been? From person that should be good.
Oh, my questions asked you.
What, this. When you have to revoke first offender. But are you asking for any additional fines?
No.
Just resentence? Yeah, so he took a plea
You know.
no, it was a different county. I want to say Griffin. I'm not sure what that is.
And I don't.
Yeah, so he had a, I'm not sure what he got on that, but I'll talk with him.
But yeah, I don't know,
All right, that's all.
because he's a felon with the.
You didn't do additional.
Not from what I saw.
I'll ask them.
He-
Yeah, I'll have to ask. I don't know.
I probably not say which one's in the chat. But I don't really tell you right now.
Yeah.
So,
So use your
so
Excel
one
one.
second.
So we're probably not gonna ask for it. So maybe a little more time to work on that.
In the same. All right.
Yeah, this is how we do it. All right, you have a minute. Good. Here I am. All right, so.
Somebody else is supposed to be?
Okay, for position 5. He's actually working with Pat.
Hey, y'all look.
Awesome.
So that.
Yes, sir.
Okay, fair enough. I just wanted to make sure you're good. Enter, and then
I already told TT, I told TT.
I have an email.
Didn't I have it over here? I had it over here, did I not? And I
I
moved it
didn't,
because I was work, I knew somebody was gonna be extra.
His issue obviously is that he doesn't put Now, I don't have, the specific information in regard to when Cab will be ready for him. So. probation's concerned with him walking off the street, essentially.
I'm
They,
leaving
look,
alone.
they gonna come out so well behaved, y'all gonna be like, what?
That's
What you
what
did?
we're He's probated all the time, unless you were going to prison, and then it might be.
So.
That's why I need to.
That's what it is. Because he's got so much time he's got on a.
I wish I should have got some, wish I had some Chick-fil-A burgers.
Oh, yeah, good.
Oh, if you had had Chick-fil-A, I would've
Oh,
said that. I just.
You just would have ate it, yep, okay. Look, now, look, Miss Kathy, you hear that? So, but let's make sure we keep the same energy. When she leaves something around.
You shop.
Look, I
I
got,
wouldn't have ate the whole
It
thing.
be-
I would've
you
go
get
to
it
the
every
tater tots.
She would have
would've
had,
gone.
she would have had shares.
That's
I would have had
see,
mine.
it be your own people, see?
All right.
You see what I'm talking about? They ate my food.
Your tater tots were great.
Oh, that's the best part. Oh, I know I would be mad. That's the best
I love
part.
the sandwich, but the tater
So
tots.
the state's gonna have 4 months, or it's gonna finish down in 4 months, but I'm certain. Oh, that's not good.
Oh, council, they're in the back too. If you need to speak.
Okay.
They're in the back.
Don't strenuously walk. You're just ready to get out.
No, I'm just.
No, I'm just teasing.
I looked at what her recommendation was, none of them was correct, so I'm like, whatever she said.
I hear you, loud and clear.
I wish she didn't ask him to go home on a murder charge.
And that's the crazy thing with Judge Drew, like, we would do probation. And some people would not be very happy about it. All right, let me go back there.
For tomorrow.
Was he on for tomorrow?
I'll see you.
Okay, perfect, yeah. Let me know.
Oh, it's this boy right here.
That's not.
Oh. No. Okay.
All rise. Here, Court of Fulton County, Atlanta, this circuit is now in session. The Honorable Judge Charles M. Eaton Jr. is presiding. Court will now come to order.
Please be seated. We're still back with the attorneys.
Yes.
Have one matter on the case management.
See that. All right, well, give me a second, log on and we'll do that. Is Miss Mignot here?
Good morning, Your Honor. I am here present and ready at the court's pleasure.
Okay, well, let's,
And my client is also present in the court.
ironically, I thought we'd be doing that last, but. Yeah, come on up. I'm just getting logged on to Zoom and everything.
Yeah.
This can be a lengthy process, so have patience. Okay, this is 21 SC 179-416 Gabrielle Maribel Milo Romero, who is joined by her attorney, Marcia Mignot. And we have Mr. Bridges with the district attorney's office. Go ahead, Ms. Mignot.
Good morning, Your Honor. May it please the court. We are on a status calendar. I just received discovery from the state on Tuesday. It
So,
is,
one second, could somebody unmute? I mean, mute there. There's a bit of an echo. Hello? Yeah, there's still a mute. There's still an echo. That's just gonna annoy me. All right, well, I'll just have to deal with it then. All right, go ahead. So you received discovery.
yes, Your Honor. Discovery was received on Tuesday. Unfortunately, it's almost the typical terabyte. I started reviewing it. However, I am not complete. We have already filed motions and I should be able to particularize my motion once my discovery review is complete and then get any Jackson dinner or any issues before the court on the next available motions calendar.
Okay, yeah, because I was reviewing, you've got three motions right now, right? The Jackson Deno, the suppress the evidence, and then the criminal backgrounds of potential witnesses.
Correct.
Am I correct? Those are the substantive motions.
Substantive, yes, yes, Judge.
Okay, let me look this up real quick. Okay, so you've got your discovery. You need some time to research it. And you may come back with amended particularized motions. How much time do you need to do all this?
When is your next available motions calendar, Judge?
Kathy is looking at it. Of course, since your client is not in custody, we have a lot more flexibility. I mean, as far as when we can schedule that.
Thank you, Judge.
Well, I asked her that and she turned it around and wanted to know when our next.
I do have some leaves coming up in December.
Can I say something?
Sure.
I actually would like her case reset to November the 7th, 2023. That's what her co-defendant's case is, so they'll
Say that
follow
again?
together. November the 7th, 2023.
What is happening with the co-defendant on November? Is that the trial date?
That's the case management hearing too.
That's a case management hearing as well. Okay, so why don't we do case management then, and then we can take any motions you have as well that day, so we can be prepared. And
That
you'll
sounds
be in contact with the court if you want to pull one of your motions, amend it, or add a motion, whatever you want to do. So we're ready to hear motions for your client on that day.
Excellent, Judge.
Okay. Anything else, Mr. Bridges? All right. All right. Y'all are excused unless you have any other questions.
No other questions, Judge.
All right.
Thank you. Enjoy your day.
You too. Oh, yeah, it's no problem. No problem. It's just one of those things that can build in your mind as you hear that echo. Yeah.
Fred Harrison.
Nice to meet you, Judge.
He says he's good with that.
Nice to meet you. So where do you normally?
I'm normally in Judge Adams' courtroom.
Oh, okay.
So they pulled me over here today and I said, sure, no problem.
There you go. There you go. There's the.
Trying to be a team player.
We're gonna have to do some hints.
I need to check with this law. It was super weird.
Yeah, I was gonna say, is Mr. Wilson appearing today? Or that Mr. Wallace? Yeah, I'm sorry, position 12. Was it reset for a caution attorney? He's got a.
All right, well, I can bring all these books back into my chambers since we're not gonna be hearing those votes.
In the room. Okay. No, I can call him if he's. Otherwise, maybe I'll just try. He's, yeah, but yeah, Stevens Wilson's coming. It's easy to handle.
I don't know what that means.
Okay, fair enough.
Ms. Jones, did you chat to know Mr. Shepherd?
Yes.
Okay. The other one is Mr. So his question is.
Yes, and Morton like it's,
Oh, he's at Brady?
Hold on, hold on.
He's the mayor. He's the first one on mine. Oh, I hate this one. Oh, yeah. It's. And Ms. Bridges.
Whatever she said.
Okay, there we go. Yeah.
Are we ready?
Yes, I,
Okay.
we're ready.
We get Mr. Clark.
Can you start me?
Clark, yeah, we'll just, I don't see any point in doing a call on this since I think they're all back there. If they're not, you'll tell me they're not. So,
Judge, do you want me at the podium? Thank you.
so how long you been a PD for?
Oh, about 5 years now, Judge.
Okay,
I was in Coweta County, and then I came up here about a year ago.
oh, all right. Did you move up here or did you just,
You know, I'm a
Right.
GSU graduate, so I used to live in East Point and drive down to Noonan. And I appreciate being in the city.
There you go.
So,
I lived in LaGrange for 9 years. so,
oh yeah, that's a commute too.
Yeah.
I practiced a little bit in troop. It's a
Well, I was
fun
wondering
time.
how does that, so you're a PD, yeah, I'm so used to our county being self-contained, but that's obviously, so you're just the PD for that county then? You're not for the whole judicial circuit?
So when I was in Coweta, I was Coweta Judicial Circuit, but I was just Coweta County.
Yeah,
They did not share us with Meriwether Troop, the others. And
Yeah.
then when we came up here, you know, just assigned to one courtroom. So
a little different.
exactly, wherever you go. So
A little different.
Georgia is mostly local practice with like, I guess, an OCGA that tells us some guidelines.
Well, I'm sure that, at least it was a reverse commute when you were doing it.
Exactly. It wasn't bad really, but I like Atlanta a lot better.
Did you start out there right out of GSU?
I actually, I clerked for a year and then I had went to law school to be a public defender. So did
Oh.
a small clerkship and then, yeah, right to Coweta. Yes, sir.
There you go.
So it's been fun.
So you loaded up on all the criminal law stuff at GSU?
Exactly. Trying to be the best lawyer money can't buy.
That's us.
Exactly, right? We were joking when I was in Coweta, our office wanted to get shirts that said pretty good for West Georgia.
Okay, this is 19 SC 168-759. Guy Clark, who's joined by his attorney. I caught your first name. What was your last name again?
Harrison.
Megan Harrison, correct?
Judge.
Okay, joined by his attorney, Megan Harrison. And we have Mr. Bridges representing the state. Go ahead, Ms. Harrison.
And yes, Judge, Mr. Guy Clark is here because he is alleged to have violated probation by committing the new offenses of possession of cocaine in DeKalb County on or about May 3rd of 2023, and the new offenses of possession of a Schedule 1 or 2 controlled substance and marijuana and obstruction of law enforcement officers in Fulton County, Georgia on or about July 10th of 2023. The Fulton County, Georgia charges, Judge, have since been dismissed. In addition, he has a failure to report, which was the day before his DeKalb arrest, which we do not stipulate to, as well as failure to complete a drug and alcohol evaluation. And Judge, we have reached a stipulation and agreement with probation in the state to revoke 5 months and then reinstate probation.
So all that's remaining is technical violations?
Yes, Judge.
Okay. Mr. Bridges?
John, we ask you for the recommendation of probation.
Okay, I will agree to revoke 5 months and reinstate. Anything else?
Judge, he has been in custody. I can give you the dates in 1 second. Judge, he has been in custody for this violation of probation since July 11th of 2023.
Okay. Okay, well, I'll agree to revoke 5 months and reinstate.
Thank you,
Anything
Judge.
else?
Thank you,
All
sir.
right, you're excused.
God bless.
Oh, yeah, I forgot. Sorry, Ms. Collier.
It's okay. Mr. Clark, I need for you to report via phone to Officer Brown, and I will give you her phone number. And I need to ask, what address will you be living at? Is it still the one in DeKalb County?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
I just need
So,
to-
Mr. Clark, they're just technical violations, but you have to keep up with them, okay?
Yes, sir.
Okay, keep up with what you need to do so you don't end up back in here.
Yes, sir.
All right. All right, Shepherd.
I'm right here.
Okay, this is 09 SC 86689. Mr. Perry Shepherd, who's present in the courtroom with his attorney, Ms. Tanya Jones, and we have Mr. Roderick Bridges with the state present. Ms. Jones, go ahead.
Thank you, Your Honor. As indicated, this is Mr. Shepherd. The state alleges that on or about 6/1/2023, Mr. Shepherd was arrested for failure to register as well as showing proof and entering any sex offender treatment as required. Your Honor, we will stipulate by a preponderance, not proof beyond a reasonable doubt in regard to the allegations. In speaking with my client, he had been in the hospital for a while, which he failed to register at that point, but he has since registered. He indicated to me he registered on 9/14/2023, which was his birthday. The state has also thought he needed some drug and alcohol assessment. I do note that that was in the initial disposition. That was a standard thing that Judge LaGrua liked to do. He doesn't have a drug and alcohol problem, so I spoke with probation in regard to that. And they're fine with not having him do that. They're more concerned about him reporting as well as maintaining his registration and complete the sex offender treatment as required by probation, Your Honor. And so it's a revoke 3 months and credit for time served.
How long has he been in jail? 3 months, I guess, or around 3 months? or-
Roughly 3 months, Your Honor. It'll be, I think it's short 5 days.
Mr. Bridges?
And of course, we would ask him to also do the sex offender registration. She says he already done it.
Okay, the only question, so the treat this is obviously a very old underlying case, so the treatment's still hanging. He still hasn't completed it from that.
I think he starts and then he stops. I think that just there's been an issue. He is disabled, Your Honor. He's got some severe issues with his leg, which is why he was in the hospital. So I think it's not a matter of wanting to do it. I think transportation and his disability have been an issue. He does report to probation. It's just a matter of these special classes he just kind of struggles with. And I think there might be some intellectual disabilities as well, a little bit, Your Honor. But he is fine with, again, doing the treatment as recommended by probation.
Okay, Mr. Perry, you need to register, you need to report, and you need to complete the class that was required of you. Do you understand that?
Yes, sir.
You gonna do that?
Yes, sir.
All right, you don't want to end up back here, do you?
No, sir.
Okay, I'll agree to revoke 3 months with credit for time served.
Thank you, Your Honor.
All right, you're excused.
Mr. Perry, I just need to let you know, you also need Officer Griffin, right?
Yes, ma'am.
I need for you to contact him within 48 hours of your release.
I get rid of time, I get rid of it.
Oh,
All right, Kendrick is next.
Oh, we already did him last Monday.
Okay. Smith, Joshua Smith.
Yes. Oh, yeah.
One of my buddies down there.
Oh, who is it? I don't think I know him. It was such a small police department though. Like after a while, I got to know all the patrol officers.
Yeah,
So,
he left like, right, we left around the same time.
okay.
So that's,
Yeah.
he stayed down there.
Yeah. It's a very different, but also just the same. You know? Yeah. It's one of those places where it's a lot easier to get like, things done. Like I pick up the phone and call someone. Like I can call the jail. And go, how is this gonna blah blah blah? This is how it works. You know. Here it's just like nice.
Y'all are all here for probation revocations for your, I assume, friends and family? Just double checking to make sure you're in the right spot. Okay, this is 14 SC 127286 Joshua Smith, who's present in the courtroom with his attorney, Ms. Harrison, and we have Mr. Bridges representing the state. Go ahead, Ms. Harrison.
And yes, Judge, this is Mr. Joshua Smith. Mr. Smith is here today and probation alleges that he violated his probation by committing in December 6th of 2021, the new offenses of criminal trespass and damage to property in Fulton County. The recommendation from probation is to revoke 2 months and reinstate probation. Mr. Smith has already been in custody for 66 days, so that recommendation has run its course, Judge, and we would stipulate to the violation. In terms of a little bit of details about Mr. Smith, he has been working at Myers Industrial where he makes racks and places them in the warehouse. He's been doing that consistently since about 2019. So he's held down a job for about 3 years.
Okay. Is this his first violation?
Judge, my understanding is it's his second violation.
Okay, Mr. Bridges.
Your Honor, we asked you to call the probation.
Okay, I'll agree to revoke 2 months and reinstate.
Thank you, Judge.
Oh, I'm sorry, Mr. Smith, I need for you to report via phone to Officer Garner. I'm gonna give you his phone number.
Yes, ma'am.
Brown. Are you from Virginia originally?
I'm from Canada originally.
Okay,
It's
all right,
exactly
same.
what you think. It's a
Yeah.
southerner by way of Canada. So
Yeah,
I'm like either
yeah,
a southerner who
yeah.
says I like A or a Canadian who says y'all.
Yeah. For some reason, the Virginia accent and the Canadian one are very similar.
I knew exactly what you're
This is
asking.
that old English.
Sorry about the house.
The about, yeah,
Yes,
that's what gave it away.
We do not. He'll be reporting CAD.
Okay, this is position 517 SC 149572 Stephen Brown, who's joined by his attorney, Miss Jones, and we have Mr. Bridges here in the courtroom representing the state. Go ahead, Miss Jones.
Thank you, Your Honor. As indicated before you is Mr. Brown. The state is alleging that once he was released from custody in January, he failed to report within 48 hours. They conducted a field visit at the address listed, and he was not living there at the time. I will note that that address was actually sober living, but once he was arrested and then released, I don't think the sober living was allowed him back in. Your Honor, he has been working with the PAD program. I also got an email from PAD indicating that Mr. Brown is a well-known client of theirs and that they're going to be working with him in regard to placement. And my understanding is that they're looking either at the Hope House or the Atlanta Recovery Center, Your Honor. And speaking with probation, their main concern is that he reports. That's just a big issue with Mr. Brown, and they'll agree to one more chance of reinstating his probation and reporting within 48 hours, as well as reporting to PAD within 48 hours. If that is not accomplished, and a warrant will immediately go out, and the probation office has informed me that they will be seeking prison time for Mr. Brown to incentivize him to do what he needs to do, Your Honor. We will stipulate by preponderance, not proof, beyond reasonable doubt in regard to that, and agree with the recommendation of reinstate probation, and that he report within 48 hours both to PAD as well as probation, and update his address once he gets confirmation from PAD as to where he's going to be living.
All right, Mr. Bridges.
Your Honor, we ask you to follow recommendation of probation.
So this is not the first time he hasn't reported?
It's not, Your Honor.
Mr. Brown, how long has he been in jail for?
Been in jail since, I mean,
It's probably around 113 days.
You don't want to go back to jail or even prison, do you?
no, sir.
You going to be able to report?
Yes, Your Honor.
I mean, I hope you listened to your attorney when she was saying that if you don't report next time, they're going to be coming in here seeking prison time for you. You don't want that, do you?
No, sir.
All right. Okay, I'll agree to reinstate, and he has to report to probation and PAD within 48 hours. Ms. Cullors, can you give him the instructions?
Yes, Mr. Brown, you would need to report to your officer, Officer Benton. I'm gonna provide you with her phone number, and make sure when you get settled, go to the page, first give her an address,
Okay.
okay?
Thank you, Ms. Young.
Okay, Jaquavius Jones. Did y'all get your hair done at the same time? This is position 619 SC 1725523. Jaquavius Jones is present with his attorney, Ms. Jones, and we also have Mr. Bridges from the district attorney's office. Go ahead, Ms. Jones.
Thank you, Your Honor. As indicated before you is Jaquavius Jones, Your Honor. I'm very familiar with Mr. Jones as I represent him on the underlying charge. The state is alleging a new arrest on 5/2 and as well as 5/11. Your Honor, at this point, the state's recommendation is prison time, so we are going to be moving for a hearing on this matter.
Okay. When can we do a revocation hearing, Kathy?
it can probably be done on the next probation calendar in November. I'm sure we'll have one. That should give the state plenty of time and keeps it on the probation.
Okay, why don't we do that then? Will you reschedule him for that probation revocation calendar and we'll just more than likely take him last and have the hearing. Okay,
All right, thank you,
All
Your
right.
Honor. All right. Hold that
All
there. Then you can call me anytime, okay? And we'll talk more. Just call me, we'll talk more.
all right, position 7. Oh, I mean, Rico Stewart is who we need.
Right here, straight ahead from us.
Okay, this is position 713 SC 120030 Rico Stewart, who's present in the courtroom with his attorney, Ms. Jones, and we have Mr. Bridges with the state. Go ahead, Ms. Jones.
Thank you, Your Honor. Before you, as indicated, is Rico Stewart. The state is alleging that on 4/27/2023, a field visit was conducted at the address and my client was not there. He was instructed to provide a new address and he did not. Your Honor, we will stipulate by preponderance to that allegation. My client indicated he and his then girlfriend were living at that address. They had a little bit of a fight, Your Honor, and he left and she then reported that he wasn't there. The state's recommendation is to revoke 4 months credit for time served, and he will agree to that. He will need to report within 48 hours. And we'll have to provide a new address. My understanding is that he is going to try to work with PAD to find some housing, Your Honor, once he is released, but he understands he needs to report within 48 hours.
Mr. Bridges.
Can we ask you for a recommendation with probation?
So you're in a sort of a transitory state right now as far as your housing.
I'm gonna get somewhere to stay when I get out.
Okay. I'll agree to revoke 4 months credit for time served. You're to report to probation in 48 hours. And especially when you're looking for a home, you need to keep them updated, let them know what's going on there. And then when you do get a stable address, update them with that so you don't end up back in jail. Okay.
Yes, sir.
All right, Ms. Colors.
Mr. Stewart, the officer is Officer Skate. And I'm going to report to him via telephone within 48 hours if there was a provided to you. Thank you.
All right, Jerome Griffin. Is so Summerlin got continued because he didn't. Oh, that's right. You told me that. And then Michael Garrett Smith, is Clark going to do that or no? Or are we going to punt that or the motion to reduce bond? Is Smith here?
Yes, so I can potentially cover it. It's just a motion to reduce bond. My understanding is that it's with Ms. Iqbal, and I haven't seen her this morning to chat with her in regard to
Okay,
the status, or if it maybe was close to a plea, or, you know.
I guess send Iqbal an email or something, just letting her know, because I would, if it's possible. Okay, this is position 817 SC 150-833, Jerome Griffin, who's present in the courtroom with his attorney, Ms. Jones, and we have Mr. Bridges with the state. Go ahead, Ms. Jones.
Thank you. As indicated before you is Mr. Griffin. The state is alleging that on May 5th, 2023, the defendant was instructed to report within 48 hours after release. A field visit was done and he hadn't reported, Your Honor. It's the state's recommendation to go ahead and revoke 3 months credit for time served, to suspend the balance and closed. He has another consecutive case, 17 SC 154367, that would then start. I've explained that to my client, and he understands that, so he would have to report within 48 hours.
All right, what's the recommendation on this case again?
3 months, Your Honor, revoke 3 months. He only has 6 months, 3 days remaining, Your Honor. So they just want to revoke 3 months credit for time served, then suspend the balance, and then start that new 17 SC 154367 case. And we do not object to that and stipulate.
Okay.
Okay.
Mr. Bridges.
Gotta ask you for the recommendation of probation.
All right, I'll agree to revoke 3 months credit for time served, suspend the balance. And then starting the other 17 SC case. I didn't write down a full number, but you've said it enough times on the record, so. Ms. Colors, do you have anything to?
Mr. Griffin, even though this particular case is gonna be ending, you have to put your paperwork in, I still need to report to Officer Everett within 48 hours of your release, starting your new case, which is 17 SC 15436. And I provided you with her phone number.
Ms. Griffin, you don't want to end up back in jail for something as simple as failure to report, right?
Oh, yes, sir.
Okay, all right. Michael Veal. Veal's been on probation for a long time with these charges that I'm looking at, but
It's the long probation sentences, right?
yeah. Okay, this is position 9, 15 SC 138329, Michael Veal, who's present in the courtroom with attorney, Ms. Harrison. We have Mr. Bridges with the state. Go ahead, Ms. Harrison.
Yes, Judge. Mr. Michael Veal is here and present before you, Judge. The state has charged him. He failed to report within 48 hours from his last release from jail. A field visit was attempted and defendant's address, he was no longer there. We would stipulate to those violations, Judge. There is a new address for Mr. Veal. It is his grandmother's house. It is the house that he was born and raised in, and the house he was living in, the house he will be returning to upon his release. And that address has been provided to probation. Mr. Veal does have, we discussed why he didn't report last time, and he would like to apologize to the court for that. When he returned home, there was a death in the family, and that chaos that surrounded that distracted him a little bit. I would point out to the court that he was almost immediately back in jail on the failure to report, so he is facing the consequences of his actions. The joint recommendation from probation and the state and defense would be to revoke 3 months and then reinstate probation, Judge. And I would put on the record that Mr. Veal did, because of his incarceration, miss a medical appointment. He has a large tumor on his left butt cheek and that his buttocks, and that has to be removed. It is causing him severe pain to sit, and I guess standing is all right, but sitting and laying down.
It's like I got something in my back pocket all the time.
Yeah, so we're trying to help him get that removed and get towards that medical appointment. So we would ask the court accept the recommendation.
Okay, Mr. Bridges.
Your Honor, we actually filed a recommendation of probation, and we also need Mr. Beal to complete all the terms and condition of the initial.
What were those?
He's supposed to take an anger management.
Yep, and I believe there is an outstanding anger management class he still needs
Oh,
to
anger
complete.
management. Okay. When do you hope to have your surgery?
Within the next couple of weeks, sir, because I was scheduled for that following week when I got incarcerated. I picked up at Piedmont Hospital. So that's gonna have to be rescheduled. So
How much more time does he have on his probation?
He has 8 years, 9 months, and 14 days remaining, Judge.
Okay, can you finish your anger management course in a year,
yes, sir.
taking into account your surgery and everything?
Yes, sir, most definitely. It'd be-
Okay, all right. I'll agree to revoke 3 months, reinstate. You were to complete your anger management course within 1 year.
Thank you, Your Honor.
And just, I know that you've been apologetic and it appears you had some extreme circumstances, but if you can't report, at a minimum, call them, let them know what's going on. I'm sure that they're quite willing to work with you on that.
Yes, sir.
So Ms. Cullors,
Mr. Beal, Ms. Harrison did provide me with your new address.
Yes, ma'am.
So I need for you to report to Officer Carter via telephone within 48 hours of your release, okay?
Yes, ma'am.
All right.
Is there, okay. Thank you.
Yes.
Yeah.
okay, Cedric Champion is next.
Your Honor, if you may hold off on that, I neglected to speak with him, and he was in the Atlanta City, and so I didn't get a chance to speak with him.
Okay.
Your Honor.
All right, Dante Edwards. Did you get a hold of Iqbal for the?
Yeah, I showed it to.
Yeah, I saw it, and I do recall, I guess the announcement was that a resolution had been, they agreed to a resolution, Your Honor, and Mr. Clark wanted to determine whether or not he was eligible for first offender. So he asked for it to be continued. And my understanding, it is on the final plea docket coming up. I saw there was another, and I think he's certainly on the trial docket, so I think it'll get resolved in the next couple of weeks.
Okay. Well,
Yeah, I'm comfortable with waiting if there's a resolution. I want to say it's on the 12th.
okay, this is position 11. 17 SC 153-046, Dante Edwards, who's joining the courtroom with his attorney, Ms. Harrison. And we have Mr. Bridges representing the state. Go ahead, Ms. Harrison.
Yes, Judge. As the court knows, this is Mr. Dante Edwards. Mr. Edwards is here as he is in violation of probation related to a new arrest that occurred on July 6th of 2023 for, it looks like offenses related to illegal drugs, possession of a knife or firearm during commission of a felony, as well as possession of various controlled substances. Judge, this is Mr. Edwards' first and only revocation on this probation that he is currently on. The recommendation from probation is to revoke 6 months and reinstate, and we would stipulate to the violations by a preponderance of evidence, but not beyond a reasonable doubt. With that in mind, Judge, we would ask that the court reinstate probation after the 6-month revocation, as has been agreed to. Judge, as I am standing here and looking at this, I notice that there is also a violation for failing to complete community service in his GED class. I know that Mr. Edwards, I suspect, will be at our jail for a period of time, and there is a drug treatment and GED program that is run there. I would ask the court, as part of the revocation, recommend that he be considered for that program, not that he join it, not that he apply, but that he just be considered for it, as I have been trying for over a year to determine what criteria the jail uses to assess people for that program, and I really have no idea. I do think that would be a good use of his time while he is in custody, particularly because of the lack of violations on this case.
Okay, Mr. Bridges.
No objection from the state, Your Honor.
Okay, I'll agree to revoke for 6 months and reinstate, and we'll put in there that we request that he be considered for the drug and GED program.
Thank you, Judge.
Anything else?
Nothing else from us.
Okay, Ms. Cullors.
Mr. Edwards wants to to your officer Lane in 48 hours.
Okay, Bruce Wallace.
He has a conflict attorney.
Yeah, I was just gonna bring that up. I saw that in the notes. Is he a Brandon for that?
Mr. Wilson, he's actually in trial with.
Oh, yeah.
So, he said,
Okay, I'll tell you,
unless you wanted to do something else.
well,
Let me take a look and see if anything else is holding him, because I do know he's got basically a time served threat.
all right, we'll come back to it. What's the current what's he charged with that caused the revocation?
And Judge, he has a new burglary, which I believe caused the revocation. I would need to just triple check. But the offer from probation would be a time served offer at this point.
Okay,
He's been in 450 days.
all right, let's come back to him then. Position 13, Crystal Cooper. Trying to think through how I could get called out on that, but.
Taxpayers' money.
Trying to, right? Also keep my backyard balance. I know. I hate conflicting cases. Like I just feel like a stone in my heart. I'm a hot mess.
Cooper was. All right. Okay, this is position 1314 SC 130138, Crystal Cooper, who's present in the courtroom with her attorney, Miss Harrison. And we have Mr. Bridges with the state. Go ahead, Miss Harrison.
And yes, Judge, as the court is aware, this is Ms. Crystal Cooper. She is here alleged to have violated her probation. This would be her second revocation in the course of her probation for committing the new offenses of misdemeanor cruelty to children in the 3rd degree, criminal damage to property in the 2nd, and battery family violence in Brookhaven on November 25th, 2022. From what I can tell, Judge, there is not a pending open or closed case related to these charges on Odyssey. But we would stipulate to the revocation in a preponderance of evidence, but not beyond a reasonable doubt. The recommendation from probation and from the state is to revoke 2 months and reinstate probation with credit for time served. With that in mind, Judge, Ms. Cooper has already been in custody for revoked 90 days. I apologize, Judge. So revoked 90 days, reduced to time served, and to enroll in a parenting class within 30 days of release. Ms. Cooper has already been in custody for 94 days, so the revocation would be getting her out of jail today. And she does believe that she would have no problem enrolling in a parenting class within 30 days of release, getting that information from probation and making a payment towards that class. So with that in mind, we would ask the court accept the recommendation.
And this parenting class, I assume, will cover some anger management
Generally,
as
they will,
well.
Judge.
Mr. Bridges.
Yeah, we actually follow recommendation of probation.
All right, Ms. Bridges, obviously, I'm looking at the underlying charges here as well. So there seems to be some ongoing issues there. But I will agree to revoke the 90 days, reinstate with credit for time served, and that you enroll in a parenting class within 90 days of release. And I hope that you take that class and you take it seriously, okay? Okay.
Thank you, Judge.
All right. Ms. Colors.
I'm sorry, Ms. Cooper, your officer is Officer Smith. So once you're released. Thank you.
Michael King is next. What? Oh, he's at Grady?
Judge, is it possible to go back there during court? I could talk to Mr. Wallace.
Wallace is, okay, oh, yeah. Yeah, why don't you go back there? Yeah, why don't you do that?
In regard to Mr. King, Your Honor, you may recall that he left during his final plea. I think it was the last time we had court. And he failed to appear for the calendar call as well as docket call. So we would just request, and that was going to be my request today, but I feel, I'm not sure why he's at Grady. I'm sure I'll find out soon. But we would just request that he be added either to the final plea this month in the trial calendar, and we'd waive notice, that's fine, or the one in November. I know he's anxious to resolve his matters, and the state and I were pretty close when Ms. Clark was here in regard to resolving it. And there's another additional case that he has that's not on the docket, I believe.
Pardon me? You don't want to put him on the one coming up, or, well, I guess he's in custody, so we can't, right?
Okay.
Our
So-
problem is, we're just limited on, so we'll put him on a November final plea.
Okay, that'll be good. And then I can just notify him and continue to work with the state to try to resolve it.
All right. Now, I can't bring anybody out. One second. I can't bring anybody out while okay, that's what I thought.
I know, so that's right.
No, it's just, it's security. I mean,
Let me double check on this. Yeah, so Ms. Robinson, the case that didn't make this docket that would be request to keep them all together is 22 SC 181920.
This is King.
Yes,
Okay.
just to keep them all together. I guess it was in August when he didn't. when he left.
In Wallace's stipulation, you're saying straight time served.
Mhm.
Judge, Mr. Wallace would be fine with waiving the conflict and having our office represent him for the limited purpose of this violation of probation.
All right, why don't we go ahead and bring him out then? All right, so this is 20 SC 175029 Bruce Wallace, who's present in the courtroom with his attorney, Ms. Harrison. And we have Mr. Bridges with the state. Go ahead, Ms. Harrison.
And yes, Judge, I'd like to introduce you to Mr. Bruce Wallace. As the court is aware, Mr. Bruce Wallace is technically a conflict case, but there does not appear to be conflict counsel that is ready and present. He is a conflict case related to 23 SC 189447, which is not related to his violation of probation. I've had this conversation with Mr. Wallace in the back, and he has agreed to waive all conflicts and allow our office to represent him for the limited purpose of resolving the violation of probation today.
Okay.
With that in mind, Judge, Mr. Wallace has been in custody on the violation of probation and his other case for 427 days. The offer in this case is to revoke 1 year, 2 months, and 1 day of probation and reduce to time served. The nature of the violation for which Mr. Wallace has been accused is that he changed his present place of residence without informing probation, that a face-to-face field visit was conducted, and the resident said she did not know Mr. Wallace and that he did not live there. Mr. Wallace believes he may be able to go live with his brother upon his release, but he does still have a $3,000 bond, so he will not be released as a consequence of this violation, and he does not know that address yet. So we do not have a new address to provide to probation, but Mr. Wallace is aware of the importance of reporting and keeping his address updated. And with this in mind, Judge, we would ask the court to accept the joint recommendation.
So wait, the revocation is not related to the 23 case. It's just failure to appear and
Yes, Judge, that is all that is alleged in, I apologize, all that's alleged in the warrant. And I can go back and restate, it does appear that the new violation is in the petition, but not in the warrant itself. And with that in mind, we can stipulate by a preponderance of evidence to that, Judge, and Mr. Wallace has waived the conflict.
okay. Mr. Bridges?
Ask you to follow the recommendation of probation.
Okay, I'll agree to revoke 1 year, 2 months, and 1 day reduced to time served.
Yes, sir.
Thank you, Judge.
And Mr. Wallace, can I please provide your Officer Yancey's phone number? That means, I take her
Yes.
within 48 hours.
Perfect.
All right, so go ahead.
So we'll just move all three of them.
So let her know.
Adams, we got,
Well, I know.
yeah, we'll come back. We'll come back. So let's do Christopher Adams now.
Meet you on.
Yes. What's on my thing? It says Kawan Christopher. So-
Oh, yes, I guess that's his middle name, yeah.
Well, they capitalized Christopher and didn't Kawan, so I assumed that it was Christopher, but.
Come right here, right here.
Oh, Mr. Adams, come on up here. I'm sorry, I confused you.
Okay, this is 19 SC 1714883. Kawan Adams, who's present in the courtroom with his attorney, Ms. Jones, and we have Mr. Bridges with the district attorney's office. Go ahead, Ms. Jones.
Thank you, Your Honor. As indicated, this is Mr. Adams. The state is alleging that on or about 2/16/2023, Mr. Adams committed the new offense of possession of meth, drug paraphernalia, as well as the possession of a stolen car in Kershaw County, and that Kershaw County, South Carolina, and that by way of that he left the state of Georgia without permission. Your Honor, we will stipulate by preponderance to those allegations. The state's recommendation is to revoke 6 months, commute that to time served, as they are aware that he has holes in Cobb and Douglas County. I do note he has another charge pending here that's not alleged for a skirmish, for lack of a better word, at the Fulton County Jail. I do believe he'll be able to resolve that and then move on down the road to Cobb and Douglas County and handle his affairs there. So we respectfully request you follow the recommendation.
Okay, Mr. Bridges.
Your Honor, follow the recommendation of probation.
All right, I'll agree to revoke 6 months, commuted to time served.
All right, thank you, Your Honor.
All right.
Mr. Adams, once you are released from all of their homes, you as the officer, you may have a number.
Now, Ms. Jones, you need to go back and talk to
I do need
Champion.
to talk to Ms.
Okay.
Champion.
All right. All right, go on back.
And Judge, I believe that concludes my business, but maybe. excuse
You're
me.
excused. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you as well. And thank you all for letting me moonlight in here.
We appreciate it.
Say I'll be back, but then it sounds like a threat, right? I'll take care. Have a good one. Good to see you, Mr. Rose.
All right, good to see you again.
This is going, everybody's on the same page again, like we're.
Mr. Officer, on Mr. Michael King, is on that case she gave you, is set for final plea on November the 6th. Yeah, the one that she just gave you is set for November 6th. So if you want to put them all on November 6th, that's fine. Yeah. 22 SC 181-920, Mr. Michael King is on November 6th for final plea.
Yeah, I think put them on there.
Okay, so there the other two cases.
Yeah, I just put them on there.
Okay, all right, good.
That's what I thought.
Yeah, sure. Pardon me? Yeah, that's all right. Are y'all here for champion? Okay, bring them on out. Okay, this is 17 SC 151073 Cedric Champion, who's present in the courtroom with his attorney, Miss Jones, and we have Mr. Bridges here with the district attorney's office. Go ahead, Miss Jones.
Thank you, Your Honor. As indicated before you is Mr. Champion. The state is alleging that on or about 8/19/2022, Mr. Champion was arrested in Spalding County for possession of meth, possession of marijuana, and a drug related objects, Your Honor. In speaking with probation and my client, he has already taken care of those charges. Sounds like he got 3 years probated with about 60 days to do credit for time served. The state's recommendation basically is time served. However, they do want to revoke his first offender that he received in this particular charge. I will note that he has, this is his first revocation. He has 33 years, 6 months, and 30 days remaining. I am guessing he got, the armed robbery was reduced to robbery, which he probably got 20, and then the egg assault, he probably got 20 consecutive is my best guess. Your Honor, prior to, well, after his release, he was working, Your Honor, at SIVA, which is a Victoria's Secret's warehouse where he does warehouse work, moving boxes, loading trucks, things along those lines. He was working full-time, making $17.50 an hour, Your Honor. And speaking to him about why he was in Spalding County, which I do believe is Griffin.
Yes, ma'am.
Griffin, Your Honor, he was just running with a girl. He indicated to me that she was just a bad influence on him. My understanding in speaking with him, it was just a bud of marijuana and some residue, which, given the fact he only received 3 years probation, may be accurate. I don't have the drug report, but we would just request that Mr. Champion's first offender not be revoked, given the fact he's a young kid. He's 23 years old. He understands the mistake he made. He's owning up to it in front of Your Honor. And he does have a really good job. He believes he can get that back. And I would just worry, obviously, as a young person, having a felony conviction for robbery as well as aggravated assault might hinder his employment opportunities as well as housing opportunities in the near future. Your Honor has him for quite a while. You've got his 33 years probation, so that could be a carrot as well, that if he shows up again on another violation, that Your Honor would not take this lightly. I've spoken to him. He does indicate he doesn't have a drug problem. It was the girl he was with. Her paraphernalia. And it was a car stop, Your Honor. So I also know sometimes things are found in a car and everybody goes to jail. That's just how it is. So we would respectfully request they get time served. He's been in, I believe, 90 days. And reinstate probation with a stern warning that a next violation, that revocation, I'm sorry, his first offender could be revoked, and there could potentially be prison time involved with that because it's a resentencing.
How long has he been out for? I mean, since the 17 SC.
It's my first time.
I mean, is it 6 years or is it, or did he do time? I guess what I'm getting at is, did he do time?
My understanding, it was a split sentence, Your Honor. I'd have to pull it up. And maybe somebody can pull it up faster than me. I think it was a 3.
How long has he been out on probation for? Approximately.
He thinks he got out around sometime in 2020, April 4th, 2020.
Is this his first violation,
It is, Your Honor.
Mr. Bridges?
Your Honor, if the court's inclined to let his first offenders stay intact, I would ask that he do a drug and alcohol evaluation just to be sure. And also tell him that he cannot have drugs unless prescribed by a doctor.
And the defense would agree with that, Your Honor. I think a drug and alcohol evaluation is in order in this particular case, and that he just abide by any findings, if there are any, and just do what probation indicates he needs to do.
You know, Mr. Champions, you've got 33 years left on probation, and that's tough. You're going to have to, but better than the alternative, which would be, you know, doing that confinement. You know, you hadn't been out that long before this, but it does, as Ms. Jones said, you know, given the fact that how much probation, he was given 3 years probation for the possession charge.
A year.
My client thought he only got 12 months, Your Honor, but look, speaking with probation, who has that Spalding County record, it looks like it was a 3 probated on the meth, and then 12 months on the possession of marijuana.
And so, you know, I know it's all going to be the girlfriend's fault in this situation. But I guess what I would say to that is you got to pick and choose who you hang out with. If you're gonna blame the other person, you better be hanging out with people that don't do that. Because I mean, you're just you know, it's a tough thing to have hanging over you, but you've got to you know, you're gonna just have to lead a very clean life. I mean, who do you have from your family here today?
My sister and my brother,
Your dad, your sister?
my brother.
So they're here to show support for you today.
Yes, sir.
You know, I'm not going to revoke the first offender, but you've got to, it's really supposed to be a one-shot deal. I mean, I give these lectures every time, and I just given the fact that the charge that you got tagged with seems fairly minor, I'm not going to revoke it. But this is, we said this last time, this is your one shot. And only because I want you to be able to get a productive job and live a productive life and not have this felony hanging over you for the rest of your life.
Thank you.
And so I have faith in you that you're going to do that. I mean, I see you've got a good family structure here supporting you. They're going to need to look out for you as well. Because it's a long road ahead, but I can tell you this, if you get a legitimate job, which it looks like you had, and you have your family structure and you have your activities, you're not going to get in trouble because you're going to be focused on productive things and not other things that are going to get you in trouble. So I don't know what to tell you that this is your second last chance, but so let me see what okay, so time served. I'm not going to revoke the first offender, but you are to get a drug and alcohol evaluation and follow those recommendations. And in addition to that, you're not allowed to have any drugs or alcohol on you.
All right, thank you.
Okay. I mean, you're going to have to be very careful. How old are you?
23.
23. Yeah. I mean, I just, it's hard to appreciate it, I think, as a 23-year-old sometimes, but you got your whole life ahead of you. And, you know, you can do better. And I hope you get your job back at SIVA,
Thank you.
at the warehouse. But just don't do this again. Because I mean, just having that, I guess what I'm getting at 3 years old, I don't know if you appreciate how having that felony around your neck, if you do get it for the rest of your life, just what a problem that's going to be for you, you know, and you're just going to be so much better off not having it, and just to be able to get a job freely and not have to, when you're filling out job applications and having to fill that out. And some people are going to just cross you off right away. And if they don't, you're going to have to explain it all. And it's just going to be a pain. And it's just not something you want. It's just not a scarlet letter you want hanging around you for the rest of your life. So I just, please, you know, don't get in any more trouble, because we're going to be we're going to have to revoke that first offender. Okay.
Thank you, sir. I
You understand? All right. All right. You're excused.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Well, you got to talk to probation first. So.
And, once you are released, that's Officer Calhoun.
Is that it? Okay. We are adjourned. Oh, that's right. Yeah, well, we'll bring him out when Miss Jones comes out. So.
Yes. Okay, okay.
You asked me about ask me to see if I can get it reduced.
Okay, this is 22 SC 1855556. Michael Garrett Smith is present in the courtroom with attorney Ms. Tanya Jones, and we have Mr. Roderick Bridges representing the state. Ms. Jones?
Thank you, Your Honor. Before you is Mr. Smith. This is Mr. Clark's case. It's my understanding that they're reached some sort of resolution in this matter. The only issue that Mr. Clark was looking into as to whether or not Mr. Smith was eligible for first offender, which I'm guessing he was going to pull the GCIC or speak with the state and getting a copy of his GCIC to see whether or not that could be a first offender. Mr. Clark is ill today, and that's why he's not here, Mr. Smith. But I'm fairly certain, I know he's on the October 16th trial docket, and I think he may have a final plea. Yes, and he's got a final plea on the 12th, Your Honor. I anticipate Mr. Clark being back for the 12th, and I believe that the first offender issue should be resolved by then, and it'll probably be for disposition.
Okay, so Mr. Smith, I just wanted to bring you out, make sure you were informed what's going on. As Ms. Jones just adequately said, there's a little bit of research to do to see if first offender is applicable. And it looks like you probably have an agreement worked out. So on October 12th, we will most likely be doing a negotiated plea. If not, I know your attorney has a motion to reduce bond if that doesn't happen, and we can discuss that. You have any questions?
No, sir.
Okay, all right, you're excused.